Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today, as you can see, from popular demand, Lucky, he's back. How you doing, Lucky?
Doing well, man, doing well. How you going?
Doing very nice, doing very nice. And today, I brought you here, right, to give me luck for summons. Nah, I'm just kidding, that was the last video. But I brought you today to learn more about Totemist, right? I've heard you are the Totemist expert. Is this true? You're some kind of shaman now?
I don't know who you heard that from. That was a little secret between me and one other person.
Well,
but no. We summoned them all in one day, so we're pretty happy. We summoned about 10, 15 Totemists on day one. So yeah, we had a pretty big name to hold on to. So
let's dive in. Yeah, I heard you're lucky enough to actually get the Totemist. So I figured I'd bring you here. Let's talk about it. I can learn as well as we can share with the rest of the community here where we can use them. Let's go ahead and start off with the win one, right? The one everybody can get.
When I first read the skills, I was a bit concerned about what I was reading because it seemed very lackluster, and that's because of a lot of the units that Comtos has come out with recently. A lot of them had a lot of things mixed into their skills. They did a lot of different things in one skill, whereas this was very simplified. They had specific roles to play in each team, but I liked the way they approached them after I tested them out. Riley's a pretty good support unit. It's got a heal on skill 1, and skill 2 does a 1-turn immunity, no cleanse to everyone in the team. Skill 3 is a cleanse, but no immunity, so it's just a remove one harmful effect, does a little bit of a heal, and it gives you attack power buff.
Kind of a nice PVE unit, right? We kind of speculated it'd be kind of that boost for people to maybe use it. And then here's this very unique skill here.
So the way this works is every time you get hit by the enemy, and whenever they hit Riley directly, you'll get a totem. When she also attacks, she also gets a totem as well. So when she gets to 3 totems, it unlocks her 4th skill. And her 4th skills, as you'll see across all the Totemists, is a culmination of all the other skills that they've got. So her 4th skill is a heal. It gives immunity for 1 turn, and is it 1 turn? I believe it's 1 turn. Yeah, 1 turn immunity and a 2-turn attack buff. Sorry, I keep getting those two mixed up. So yeah, it's a baby heal, attack buff, and immunity.
That's quite interesting. So I mean, especially in dungeons or areas where there's AOE, everybody's gonna get hit. She's gonna stack these totals pretty quick, and then skill 3, skill 4. I mean, just tons of attack up for you all the time. Lots of healing, right?
It's actually a really good unit to bring into a lot of AOE damage, or a unit that you want to be used as a bit of a fire damage bait, or a unit that you bring into a wind and fire comp where you use a double water team with a wind tank. So kind of she takes all the damage, but she'll keep using her skills, because it's something you may have noticed there with her 4th skill is there's no cooldown. So the moment you get the 3 totems again, you can use that skill immediately. So so it's pretty easy to really churn out that the skill 4.
Right, and then you have that opportunity to use other skills if you need cleanse or whatever it is. Then okay, cool. I guess these are the stats that you have on Riley here. I mean, it's pretty standard, right? Support, tank built so that she can go first, so she can give attack buff to the rest of your team, and that's it, right? Very simple.
Yeah, very simple. So something that I would probably change on my build is maybe aiming for a little bit more resistance. Pretty basic runes on her, just some leftover stuff to test it out through some Guild War content. But ideally, she just moves in front of your damage dealers, gives the attack buff, does a cleanse if you need it.
Easy hack for Guild Wars, right? Against any fire damage.
Pretty much.
Yeah, just soaks it all up.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly right.
Cool.
So Nora, similar. So they all got the same first skill, which is the heal. Second skill for her is a strip. I believe when you max skill it goes up to 70%, and then it also applies a block beneficial. Heal block. Sorry. Yeah. And then the passive, I believe, places a dot. So yeah, or whenever they attack you, you also put on another dot on them. So a 2-turn dot every single time they attack you as well.
Okay, so what's the hype that was built around this? Like, what was the
So the thought process behind it was when it first came out, it seemed like on paper it was going to be a Rika with a strip. It had a similar vibe to it. That you're going to get so many dots down. You're going to also be able to strip and set your team up and everything like that. And the 4th skill has a pretty interesting effect on it, where it actually deals damage based on the number of harmful effects.
It's kind of like the fire demon then, kind of like a mix. It's a Rika fire demon had a kid. And
the only problem with that skill is it doesn't mention anywhere there that it's max HP damage. So, and that caught me off guard because I tested it at first, and when you do it the first time, it does massive damage, and then when you get them really low, your damage just over time. So I hope that's something Comtos can look at for maybe a little bit of a buff to her, because that's how I thought it might have worked. But look, it was a bit of fun to test it out with. As you can see, this was actually the first one I skilled up after hearing the hype, and It really hurt me. Hurt my feelings afterwards, realizing that the fourth skill wasn't as good as it was made out to be.
Okay, so the Wind one awakened into resistance. This one awakens into accuracy. Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, so something that Comptos did really well this time was the awakening abilities of the Totemists. The support type ones, they've so the healing ones actually awakened into res, and the ones that stripped actually awakened into accuracy. So it just makes it a bit easier on the runes. So you don't have to chase too many stats because
you know? Don't know
yes.
what come to us, several years ago was thinking with some of the unit creations, but hey, now it's clicking. It's clicking.
She's designed to be a stripper, but I mean, her activation's 70%, so it really does hurt a little bit. Yeah.
So we have it built here again, around the same speed as Riley, it seems. What's the thought process here?
I was having a bit of fun with her, and I was pairing it up with Sath as well. So I was running Wusa, Sath, Nora for a bit of testing. I was essentially trying to get rid of my Rika in the team and try run her in that spot. Yeah, so this was just to essentially set up my dots and hopefully stack them up, and then the fourth skill I thought was going to do big damage, but yeah, it was a bit of a letdown after testing. Has some potential, yeah, definitely. I still want to explore a little bit more with her. I've got a pretty nice rune set on her for RTA.
Oh, we'll jump over to that after we take a look at the water one, and we'll see how.
Yeah, definitely. She's a very interesting unit. I haven't skilled her up yet because I don't think she needs skill ups in the comp that I'm running her in, but essentially her first skill does a heal. Second skill is the same as Riley, which does a 1 turn immunity, no cleanse. The third skill is the text there reads as a heal, but that's essentially the heal recovery. So yeah, it's a heal over time for 2 turns and a defense buff. So it's not actually a physical 15% heal.
Okay.
It's a heal over time. Fourth skill here, it's a 20% heal. It gives you a defense buff, and it also gives you immunity.
It's still got the same vibes, but now we feel like it's a water tank, good against like wind units kind of vibe, right? I'm assuming that's what you kind of use it for, and you're just using this sports skill mainly, so that's why you don't really care too much about all these other skill ups, because this is the skill that matters, right?
She fits really well where you'd use an Emma or a Mahale within that Fang X Veligil comp. So I know I've seen you run that quite a lot.
It's
this is the unit you want.
Like you just close your eyes and it's great. Yeah, I'd love to get one.
So now picture this unit where she just gets targeted by everything, keeps doing her fourth skill, and she also helps you close the gap with immunity when Veligil runs out of immunity. You run her second skill when Veligil runs out of immunity, and you always have immunity and defense buff. And you have Feng Yan that deals so much damage. And if you have a crit damage Veligil, you actually hit pretty hard with this as well.
Right, and you just got so much healing over time, right? You got the Feng Yans, and you got this one, and then you got that cleansing for Fang. So like you're good. And I'm assuming you went Nem just for whatever reason, you just wanted to put some stats, or did you think Will would be better? It doesn't matter.
Look, it was mainly just stat chasing. I would have preferred Will. I think when I was testing her, I might have ran out of some runes to be able to get it to the 100 res
or something. Yeah, that was
exactly right. Her role for me was running with the Feng Vela, and it did the job really well.
Let's actually go ahead and hop over here. I actually want to take a look at your RTA runes on these and kind of talk a little bit about your experience using them in RTA so far.
I used the Wind one a little bit. I used it alongside when I was trying to run a 2 immunity based comp. So I was running her as my second sort of cleanse with an immunity unit. So mainly it was run around Wusa and Lulu, depending on the situation that I was facing, and it was mainly just for cleansing and that baby heal that she gave. It was really handy.
Attack buff's also very nice, especially with Sierra. So.
Attack buff's really nice. I ran that with Savannah. I used her a lot in situations where I thought, they're running a lot of AoE. So having that heal and cleanse is really nice to have, especially when it's units like Carnal. Units like Hey Gang, where you get glance and you want to cleanse the glance before you move. It's actually pretty good for that sort of
and all those AoE units, right? That's what you want to go up against. You want that S4 up all the time. So that's
exactly
really
right.
Smart. Yeah.
The build I've got on it at the moment, I believe it's on Violent Will, and I wanted a little bit more res because she did awaken into res. Yeah, it's got some decent res. It's got some decent runes on it, and yeah, it turned out okay. To me, I felt a little bit weaker running her in my comp compared to a unit like if I had the choice between both Lulu and Wusa. Fitting her in the comp, she was a lot harder to fit in because of the way I draft. I draft a lot of Juno, a lot of Molly, play a lot of Annabelle as well. It can work because I don't run a lot of units that require attack buff.
It made it a little bit like you were forcing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it wasn't. You tested her, and I'm getting the vibes that she didn't do the job as good, but you were forcing it for kind of fun and for content. And
yeah, most definitely.
So she's okay then, subpar.
No, she's definitely good if you run a lot of units that rely on an attack buff. So units like Savannah, units that do a lot of CC control like Poseidon as well, would be really good for her. Because I've stepped away from that draft style a little bit. It didn't really suit my drafting as much as I thought it would have.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the fire one, Nora.
So I
It basically looks like a Rika. Just close your eyes and put a Rika right there. This you tried to do it, right?
So gave her a similar set. I gave her pretty much my Hey Gang set for testing. So she's at max AC with the artifact on the right side, and I tried to run her as my #1 stripper to be able to set my team up, and it was very awkward because of the strip chance.
70 is pretty low. I think something, it is a skill too though, but I think something on the lines of like 85 would feel a lot nicer.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, I would have preferred if the 4th skill was strips everything, just purely because it is the 4th skill. I guess the argument can be made that you can get the 4th skill quite a lot because it, requires you to take damage to be able to build it up, but it is still a pretty okay-ish unit if you get the 4th, if you can place it in the 4th in your team to be able to get that 4th skill up a lot.
You know what I was thinking this whole time too? Like this mechanic, they love throwing these new mechanics into the game, right?
Yeah.
So we got this new tot and like tribe totem, that thing. It would have been really cool, and this is my speculation. If they ever buff these units, they give it an additional skill, which is based on if you have 3 or more totems. Right, when you activate it, it does something else, right? So maybe like what you're saying, you want to do strip everything, you need to have 4 totems instead of 3. But if you activate it with 3, right, I can see that as a potential buff opportunity or change to a lot of these Totemists here. Maybe
that would be interesting.
Yeah, right?
I mean, they could make it scale more, right? So maybe 3, you need minimum 3 to be able to use the 4th skill, but then it gets a strengthened skill with more totems, and maybe it cuts out at 5.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a bad idea. You're already talking about balancing these.
I mean, whenever this new unit's released, let's be real. Every time they release a new unit, everybody's just talking about how we can make it even better. Like Copter was like, "Bro, relax. We just released it. Like, come on, relax." But we'll give them some ideas.
Sure.
But anyway, so you gave it the Despair Wool set, and how did it do?
It did okay. It did as well as I thought it was going to do. It gets very awkward when you face units that provide 2 buffs. So it's really awkward against Woosers, but it fits fine against teams that have Lulu. But you got to remember, when you do bring in a fire stripper, you're going to end up facing a lot of herds. And I ended up facing a lot of herds when I was testing her. One of my tests was actually pretty funny. I think it was the first time I tested and I said, all right, guys, I said this on stream. I said, all right, guys, let's see how a strip goes. First time I did it, I stripped no will runes on anyone on the other side. Max AC, nothing got stripped. I was like, oh. I mean, that's how CP was when he first got released as well. And, you can't be too heavily reliant on it. It should be a backup stripper. It needs a little bit more utility in her kit, and I think should be pretty good.
All right, last one. Let's check out the runes here for RTA. How did she function? Wow, she's pretty beefy.
So I ran her in a bruiser style comp. So I tried to run her with Leona. I ran it with my Feng Yan. I ran it with Veligil. I tried to play that slow bruiser sort of play style. It would have been good to have, if I had a wedge out of my box, it would have been really nice with this unit, I feel. Just permanent, defense buff, permanent damage with defense based units. So yeah, I just ran it there to give me a bit more sustain, give me defense buff, deal out more damage with my defense based team. Would I use her? Probably not. I think she's very hard to fit in the current meta. Being a water unit, there is a lot of wind threats out there, especially like Sierra, Diana, CP. So it's very hard to pick a unit like her in this current meta, at least from the style that I was trying to draft her. I think, as I mentioned before, really good siege unit. Probably won't see too much of her in RTA right now. The winner for me out of the elemental totemists would definitely have to be Riley. I think her skill set, given the attack buff,
nice.
Yeah, one that everyone can get. And that was really surprising because at first I thought, the fire one's going to be the best. And now in my eyes, I think Riley's probably the best one.
If they do, buff these and give these guys a little update, I can definitely see a lot of them maybe getting stronger. And that's when they get implemented more into RTA. The last 2 that we didn't discuss here, which are the light and dark.
Yes.
Kind of get your thoughts on those as well.
Ella. So she's probably the strongest Totemist. Her first skill's got the heal, so she's a support type one. She's the one that's got the sustain. Second skill does the immunity. Third skill's, it's like Ganny, but on steroids, in the sense that it resets the cooldown, and it also gives 50% attack buff.
Oh, wow.
It goes down to a 4-turn cooldown, and the 4th skill, it reduces everyone's cooltime. So it's like a Mav with a heal.
Holy crap. I'll tell you somebody who would love this unit. Yeah, Fate Member with this unit.
Fate Mem. Oh, yeah. Imagine Fate Mem with this beast.
Dude, I think he's praying for this unit, man. He's praying for this unit. This guy is nuts. I mean, as we know, right? Gani S2 is by far one of the most stupidest things, right? I mean, Gani itself was one of the most stupidest units for the longest time.
It's a pretty solid unit all around. I've seen a lot of people testing it. It's looked very, very, very strong in this meta, especially given the 50% attack bar. It allows you to cycle back into your skills and yeah, just pushes your team forward again.
And we get the Resistance Awakening, so I mean, just further strengthens her, right? Especially in PvP aspects. Wow.
Exactly right. I think she'll be a really strong RTA unit, so don't be surprised if we see more of these.
All right, let's take a look at Maya here, right? I mean, obviously you said the light one's probably one of the best ones. What about the dark one? Is this one of the worst ones?
So, you kind of nailed it. So at first it read pretty good.
Imagine the 8 guys out there in the world that actually pulled this, and then they actually watched the video and they're like, okay, well.
Yeah. So on paper it sounded pretty interesting. So the first skill heals, second skill does a strip as the same as Nora. Third skill's got a very interesting passive. It only takes damage from the first hit, and every other hit that follows, it doesn't take any damage.
Yeah, that's okay.
So it's like, okay, Feng Yan hits 3 times, right? The first hit will deal damage, the next 2 doesn't. But it doesn't work against like Dragon Knights, it doesn't work against a lot of other units, so it's kind of awkward.
Right, and a lot of times, I mean, she's not going to really get targeted first, and even more so, okay, interesting. Right, it's interesting passive. Okay. And then
her fourth skill does the strip again. It does the HP decrease based on number of harmful effects on the enemy.
That's it. Like, this 15%. Is like, she's so selfish. Like, this third skill is supposed to be some kind of banger, and it's such a selfish passive, dude.
It sounds like it's like they must have come up with this really good idea on paper, and then when they've it and you look back, when you do an assignment and you think you've done a really good job, and then you look at it a week later or 2 weeks later when you haven't looked at it for a while, you're like, what the hell did I do here? This is what this looks like on the passive reads like. I think it was awesome. And then you read it again, you think, actually, you know what? I mean, because like
looking at this unit, you're also thinking maybe like Guild Wars, perspective, right? Might be kind of nice, but it's dark, so it's kind of, I mean, like, exactly. Light vamp on the other side. I don't know, like what can you force to target it? I don't know, like.
Exactly. So it's a very awkward passive. I would like to see her get slightly reworked, or at least maybe someone comes up with some way to play with her right now. It's been really awkward considering, you still take damage from the first hit. It's not like she doesn't die. It's still possible. So I don't know. I'm really intrigued to see if they could do something about her.
Yeah, like I can't even think of anything that would be remotely fun to do with this. It's not even like a Dark Cannon girl where like, okay, I'm gonna go blast people and do some massive damage, right? Like, we don't even do anything here. Okay,
yeah, it'd be nice if it would be nice if like her passive, if it could nullify passives. It's like, so if Verd hits it, only the first skill ticks the passive and the second skill shouldn't.
Right, but then nobody's gonna hit her. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you go fight this thing, you got a Verd, well, you're not gonna touch her then, right?
Okay, what about if Diana went to pew into her and people didn't remember about the passive and they only got 25% attack bar and they got stranded?
Okay,
I'm overstretching here. I know that.
The guy has to bring that unit in that scenario and forget about the passive of a unit that's on the field. I know.
Look, I just feel bad for the guys that might have summoned her already and tested her out, because just on paper, it does look cute. They all look cute.
They look good. Like, the models of it are really nice. I think they did really good with the Totemists. I like it. To sum it up all here, looks like the big winner is going to be Riley, the one that everybody can actually get. So you recommend people to fuse it ASAP then for all the various needs, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good unit to fuse. I think when you're starting to push towards the end game, it's definitely a unit you want to consider bringing into your options. It's a good support unit. If you don't have many other fusible units or a Lulu, for example, I would probably get those ones out of the way first. Riley's kind of just an additive to that option. Good attack buffer, good immunity provider, good healer, good wind tank. Definitely suggest her as a tank. Look at her base stats. It's really nice for a tank, so definitely consider building her if you need a wing tank.
I've noticed that as well. I mean, for this bruiser style, this turn 2 style, which you've been talking about, you've been kind of been using them for, we don't really care about the speed. So if you look at all their other base stats, they've been really strong across the board for their base stats. So it's a nice solid unit. Definitely. Really solid. I feel enlightened. Yeah, I feel Totemist. Okay, I don't know what the hell it means, but I feel like I learned a lot here about Totemist today. I appreciate you taking the time, as well as to let me go on your account, take a look at some of your runes, and yeah, I'm hoping that there's gonna be some improvements for Totemist, or there's some people out there that might find some synergistic type of compositions with these Totemists and maybe excel them even further. But
definitely. No, there's a lot more to learn about these units. Their skill set's so unique that I think we'll see some exciting ways to play around with them, at least in the next few weeks or so. I'm excited to see what comes out.
Definitely. I'm excited to continue hearing. I'm sure you'll probably experiment and do some crazy things again. Once again, guys, if you guys want to check out Lucky, right? He's been streaming a little bit part-time now, right? Since you're back to
Yeah.
full-time working, but we're gonna leave the links to his
Definitely.
Twitch down below. And is it kind of sporadic, or when do you actually stream? Do you want to let them know?
Look, I stream. I'm aiming for Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. 8 p.m. Melbourne time. So the other side of the world.
8 p.m.
But yeah.
Melbourne time. Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys can make it, it'd be good to see you guys there. Nothing more to really add.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, guys, yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit that like, and you know what? Leave some comments down below. I'm curious. Let me know down below, which Totemist have you summoned? Have you gotten Riley yet, or have you actually been lucky to summon any of the other Totemists? But until the next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.